Welcome to Countout. So here I'm going to quickly show you how to get the tax clearance certificate for your company and to also check if it's compliant even before you get the tax clearance certificate. So I've just logged into SARS Efiling, and that's what you need to do. You need to make sure that you log in, and once you have logged in, the one thing that you need to make sure even before you log in is that you've added the company to your Efiling profile, you've appointed yourself as a registered representative with SARS, or you've transferred the file from someone else to your Efiling profile. That's the only way you can check a tax clearance certificate. So here's what I would say: if you've just registered the company and you've not done anything else like apply to be appointed as a representative with SARS, then you will not be able to have access to the company's file on your Efiling profile. But I believe that you've done that already, and that's why you're on this video. And you've also added the company on your Efiling profile, and you've activated the tax types. Now those might not make sense to you, might not understand what I've just said. If you don't, please follow the link in the video below where we show you how to add a company to your Efiling profile and also how to get yourself appointed as a representative with SARS. Otherwise, if someone else is a registered representative and you want it on your profile so that you can get the tax clearance certificate, we also have a lesson, and it's in the link in the description below, where we show you how to transfer a file to someone else. Okay, so let's go on with it. The first thing you want to do after you log in is to select the company. Now here you can see I only have two. One is the personal profile and the other one is the company's profile. And by the way, one of the ways you can easily check if the company is active or you have the rights to the company, either by being appointed as a representative or the file has been transferred to you, is that the income tax number will show here. As you can see here under reference number, it is showing up. So that's how you will also know. Okay, so now let's select the company. So I'm just going to click on view taxpayer to select the company. Otherwise, you could have selected it from the top here, where you click on the drop down arrow and then you can select the company. Or if it's in a different portfolio, you first select the portfolio and then you come and select the company here. What do I do next? You can see here on the top right, it's written tax status. Okay, and that's what you want to click on. So I want to click on tax status. Now I've not checked the status of this company or the compliance status, or I've not requested the letter of good standing before, so you will see what is showing here. And then I'll click on tax compliance status. Okay, so I click on tax status and then I click on tax compliance status, and then you can see that it has a button here written activation. Yours may not be written activation. That means you've already activated it. Okay, so I've not activated for this company before. That's why the first thing I have to do is to click on activation, and once I've done that, it will bring me to this page and I will have to click on tax compliance status. That means grant access to my compliance profile, and it's showing the tax reference number for the company. And then here, disclaimer: the tax compliance data system display tax information for all the registered tax types of the taxpayer, meaning it's going to display the tax information for all the tax type. Okay, that would be, if I'm registered for VAT, it's going to display the status for that, for payroll, as well as for income tax, of course. Okay, so I'm going to click here on the disclaimer and then I'm going to click on activate. Okay, so once I've clicked on activate, it's saying awaiting registration verification. Once it says that, then I'll click on continue and then it will bring me to the next page. I click on continue again. So what it's saying here is that SARS records show that your registered profile has not been confirmed and you will not be able to access the TCS system. If you have confirmed or updated your registered profile in the last 48 hours, the process may still be underway. So I'm going to click on continue here, and then I will have to just fill in these details or confirm these details and then submit the form, and then I will have access to the compliance profile. And here we go. You can see that it's showing the entity details, or the details of the company. I scroll down here, it's showing the reference number, and you can see there's no employment taxes because it's not registered for payee as yet. And then what do I have to do? Well, here we are told I, as a taxpayer or duly authorized representative of the taxpayer or trader, hereby confirm that the tax reference number or numbers and or custom codes displayed on this form are true and correct in every respect and is a true reflection of the complete registered profile of the taxpayer or trader at the date and time of the submission of this form. So you just want to make sure that the reference number or the income tax number of the company is correct here. Of course, if you have the other ones as well as the payroll and the VAT, you want to make sure that it's correct. Okay, and if it is correct, you will go on and click here yes. And by the way, how do you make sure that's correct? Well, you can check it against the core 14.3. So if I show you for this company, you can see here, I can check the tax number because that's the only thing it's registered for. It's not registered for payroll or for VAT. If it were registered for payroll or for VAT, then we would have to look at the registration certificate of VAT or payee. But there are many ways you can do that as well. Okay, but in this case, it's quite easy. I'll just click on submit form. In our experience, it's always been correct. Okay, there's not been any errors, but hey, they can happen as well. So you just want to make sure that everything is correct. And you can see it says result, your request has been successfully submitted. Please note that you can track progress on the my compliance profile menu option. So I'll just click on continue, and once I've done that, you will see that now I can check the compliance profile or the compliance status of the company. So you can see this is the page that you want, in fact, where it shows compliant, the overall compliance status, compliant. So if it shows compliant here, then you know that the company is compliant. The registration is usually always compliant, but the submission of returns, if it shows non-compliant, it means there's a return that you have not submitted. So you'll just have to click on it and it will show you what has not been submitted. In this case, the company is only registered for income tax, and you can see that it's compliant. If it were registered for payee or for VAT, you will see the other options as well for payee, and VAT would appear there as either compliant or non-compliant. And then the debt here is if you have an amount owing to SARS and you have not paid it and it's overdue, then it would have shown here as non-compliant. So you just have to click on it and it will show you for what exactly is it non-compliant. Is it for income tax, for VAT, or for payroll if you are registered for them? But in this case, everything is compliant. Now, if I want to print my tax compliance certificate, all I have to do is to click on tax compliance status request. And what do I want? Well, I want the letter of good standing, which is usually selected, and then I click on request. Okay, once I do that, it will bring me to this form again where I have to fill in, and then after I fill it in, I will be able to get the tax compliance certificate of the company or letter of good standing. And here we go, it has brought us to this page here, and if we scroll down here, you can see that it wants the details here, the telephone number of the company. So I'll just need to put that in. So if you have a home telephone, a business telephone, and a cell phone number, or two of them, or even one of them, you can just put that in and that would be sufficient. Once I've done that, here it asks me, is this request completed by an authorized representative on behalf of the taxpayer? If it's you and it's your profile for your company, then you click on no here. And then, is this request in respect of a partnership or joint venture? It's no for us here. But here we are completing as a representative on behalf of the taxpayer, and so we have to fill in our details here. The representative type, we'll click on tax practitioner, and then we'll just have to fill in our details here. Okay, we've just completed the details that we needed to put in. So we're just going to scroll down here, and you can see it says expiry details, indicate the number of months that the PIN must be active for. So the PIN is going to be active for 12 months. That's usually automatically selected, so I'll leave it as that. Once I've done that, I click on submit form, and you can see it's telling me your request has been successfully submitted. Please note that you may follow up on the progress of your request on the tax compliance work page. And you can see here the request reference number, showing us the reference number that is attached to this request, and I'll click on continue. Okay, why was I doing all that? Well, I want to get the certificate itself, okay, the letter of good standing, that is. And you can see here the request type, good standing, but you can see what it's showing here. It's showing number of letters 0, so they have not issued the letter yet, so I just have to wait for the letter to be issued. Now I'll just click on back, and it brings me to this page once again, and you can see here what appears. There's an option here, status of existing request, good standing, and you can see here it's showing compliant. Okay, so now I have to wait for the letter to be issued, and once it's issued, then I can download the letter, and I'll show you how to do that once I receive the letter. So if I click on that plus button, you can see it brings me to this page, and you can see the status is showing as approved. That means that I will get the letter, but it's still showing here number of letters 0. So I just have to wait for the letter. So you just have to be patient with that, because if I click here on print pin, by the way, once the letter comes through, you can click here on print pin, and it will open it in a new tab, and you'll be able to download the pin. But here it's saying the letter is still being processed. Please try again later. So I have to just keep checking for it, and I will get the letter of good standing. Now, one thing to mention, if you open this profile here, and by the way, let me just do that now, you will see whenever I click on tax status, as we did the first time, you can see here I don't have to activate it. So if I click here on tax compliance status, you can see I don't have just the activation. I have more options here. That's because I've already activated it. So I can just click on my compliance profile. So that's if you've been waiting and it's logged you out and you have to come back here again. Just click on tax status. You open here. You don't have to activate it a second time. And then you click on my compliance profile, and then it will open the profile for you. And then you can go back here, tax compliance status request, and you can see here under good standing, I'll click on plus, and then you can see what I had applied for here. So if I click on plus again there, you can see here it is, and the expiry of the letter will be 1 year from now, 12 months from now, if you remember when we were completing the information. Okay, but the letter is not issued yet, so I will get it issued. What I wanted to mention is that if you come here to my compliance profile and it's showing as non-compliant, if for any of them is non-compliant, you can still get the letter of good standing. However, once you get the letter of good standing, once the letter comes through, you will see here it will show the compliance indicator as non-compliant. So even if you print it and you submit it wherever you need to submit it, once they punch in the pin, they will see that it's non-compliant. So it doesn't mean if someone has given you the letter of good standing or you're able to print it out, it means that you're compliant. No, if you put the pin on the SARS website, it will show as either compliant or non-compliant. So you will get the letter either way, whether you're compliant or non-compliant. So that's just one thing to note. So let's just wait for the letter and then I'll show you how to print it. But I'm sure you would have seen it already based on the steps that I mentioned.
A few moments later.
Okay, I'm back here after 10 minutes or so and it's done. Okay, I just checked that it's done. So remember before, if you check again, by the way, if you want to check if it's through, you can just click on the one that you requested, which is going to have today's date, and then I'm going to select it and then I'll click on print. Okay, if I click on print, it's either going to show that message that the letter is being processed, or it's going to show the tax compliance status. And here we go. So if I scroll down here, this is the document that you get showing the details of the company, but it's also showing the PIN. So if you're printing this because someone has requested it, they want to check the company's tax compliance status, you know that you can easily put this pin on the SARS website and you'll know if the company is tax compliant. So all I need to do is to download it and then send it to wherever I need to send it. So depending on the browser that you're using, you can easily download it. So I'll just click on this button down here and it will have downloaded onto my system. Hope that was clear enough. Hope it was easy enough. If you've gained value from this lesson, consider subscribing to our channel and like this video. Till next time, cheers.